Hello, welcome back to Questions2, and in today's video we're going to solve top 5 rational number equations and how to solve them part 2. In our previous video we've already shown you in part 1 how to solve 2 of them of the 5 questions, and I've already asked you to try out to solve the rest 3 by yourself, but also said that we're going to upload a part 2 video if you still can't understand and want us to solve the rest for you. So here are the questions that we have already solved in part 1. Check them out. So 1 and 2 were solved in the previous part, and in today's video we're going to solve the remaining 3 parts. So let's get to it then. Firstly, we're going to start from the third question, which stays in the bracket 3/5 minus 1/10 and divided by 2/3. So firstly, we're going to write all the steps again like we did last time. The first step is to simplify the expression inside the patterns. So when we solve the expressions inside the parentheses, firstly we calculate 3/5 minus 1/10 because that's the one found in it. So when we solve this, we have to firstly search for a common denominator for 3/5 and 1/10 because they don't have a common denominator, which will be 10 because 10 can be divided by 10 and 5. So since we have found the common denominator for them, we're going to transform it. 3/5 will be changed into 6/10, while 1/10 will be 1/10 because it already has 10 as a denominator. So the next step is to perform the subtraction. Since I already had common denominators, now I can easily perform the subtraction. So the subtraction would be 6/10 minus 1/10, which will equal as 5/10. 5/10 can be easily simplified into 1/2. So the solution is 3/5 minus 1/10 gives us 1/2. So now we have already formed the answer for parentheses. We're going to move to the second phase, which is to divide it by 2/3. When we remember the equation here, it says that after calculating the ones inside the bracket, the second one is to divide it by 2/3. So when we divide it by 2/3, to do this, we have to multiply it by the reciprocal of 2/3. In our previous video, I've already told you that when we have a division sign with fractions around it, we're going to multiply the reciprocal of the numbers, the fractions with the fractions. So we're going to multiply 1/2 over 1/2 divided by 2/3 is equal with 1/2 multiplied by 3/2 because it's using the reciprocal. So when we multiply the fractions, the answer would give us 1/2 times 3/2, which equals 3/4. So we have now found our final answer because we have already did everything asked in the questions. So the final answer for the question would be 3/4. This is one way of solving rational number equations. Now let's continue to our next question. The fourth question says here 3/2 plus in the bracket 4/1 or 4 plus 9/8 in the bracket closes minus 6/5. So when we solve this, firstly we have to simplify. Simplify what? The multiplication, which means the ones inside the bracket. So firstly let's calculate 4/1 times 9/8 because it comes first in the BODMAS rule. So when we calculate it, we multiply both the numerators and denominators. So when we multiply them, it will give us 36/8. 36/8 can be easily simplified. So when we simplify 36/8, it would be equal to 9/2. When we simplify 36 by 4, it will give us 9, and 8 by 4 gives us 2. So it will be 9/2. Now we found, or we come to realize that 4/1 multiplied by 9/8 gives us 9/2. So let's go to our next step, which is to add 3/2 and 9/2, because the equation already orders us to add 3/2 to the result we get from the bracket, and since addition comes before subtraction, the rule of BODMAS, we're going to follow this. So when we add the fractions 3/2 and 9/2, they have the common denominator, so I can easily add them. It will be 12/2. So 12 can be divided by 2, which can give us 6. So the answer is 6. Now the next step, or the third step, is to subtract 6 over 5 from the result we've got, because it already orders that in the question. As we can see here, we're told to subtract 6 over 5 from the result we get. So when we subtract 6 over 5 from 6, 6 is not a rational, a fractional fraction, so we're going to have to convert 6 into fraction with the denominator having 5 so that it can work. So to convert it, we're going to multiply by 5 over 5, which gives us 30 over 5. Now after transforming it, we perform the subtraction. So 30 over 5 minus 6 over 5. This will give us 24 over 5. Now we have the final answer, which is 24 over 5. So the solution or the answer for the question is 24 over 5. I hope this was also another helpful method, but if you still want to understand more, then let's solve our fifth and last question. So the last question is 8 over 5, as we can see here, 8 over 5 multiplied by 7 over 4 is in the bracket, and it will be added on 3 over 2 minus 6 over 1. So let's solve it using the same step we used. First comes the brackets, so let's simplify the multiplication inside the brackets. First, we have to calculate 8 over 5 multiplied by 7 over 4. When we calculate it, multiply the numerators and denominators, it would be 8 over 5 multiplied by 7 over 4, which gives us 56 over 20. 56 over 20 can be simplified, so when we simplify it, it would be 14 over 5. So since we've got 14 over 5 by dividing both in 4, then now I can see or say that 8 over 5 multiplied by 7 over 4 can give us 14 over 5. Now let's go to our second step, which is to calculate by combining the results. So since we can see here that after calculating the bracket, the next step is to add and subtract. We're going to now add 14 over 5, the result we've got in the bracket, onto 3 over 2, and then subtract it by 6 over 1. So step 2.1 is to add. To add what? 14 over 5 and 3 over 2. So when we add them to each other, we're going to have to search for the common denominator for both of them. So the least common denominator for 5 and for 2 is 10, because it can be divided by both 2, which will be 5, and by 5 it will be 2. So when we transform it, 14 over 5 will be multiplied by 2, which will give us 28 over 10. And we'll do the same thing for 3 over 2 by multiplying it by 5 over 5, which gives us 15 over 10. Now the next step is we can easily add on them, because add these fractions, because we have now the common denominator. So let's just get to the phase 2, which is to add them. So 28 over 10 would be added on 15 over 10, which will give us 43 over 10. Now let's go to 2.2, which is to subtract them. So we're going to subtract 6 over 1 from the result we get. Now converting 6 over 1 to a fraction with denominator 10, because to subtract it we have to have the same denominators. So to convert it, as the question orders us, we're going to have to multiply it by 10 over 10, because it's only 1, and 10 divided by 1 will give us 10. Now when we do that, we'll get 60 over 10, so perform the subtraction because we have the same denominators. When we perform the subtraction, it would be 14/3 over 10 minus 60 over 10. So since 60 over 10 or negative 60 over 10 is larger than 43 over 10, we realize that the answer would be a negative. Then when we subtract them from each other, it would be 17. So negative 17 over the common denominator 10. So now, since we have managed to find our answer, we can finally say that the final answer for the equation is our equation, which is in the bracket 8 over 5 multiplied by 7 over 4, close the bracket and add 3 over 2 minus 6 over 1 is negative 17 over 10. These are the questions we've solved for today. In the next by continuing the part 2 for solving rational numbers. I hope that it was very helpful to you, and if you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, and comment to us, and ring on the notification bell to get any new videos uploaded from us. And in the comments, write out any questions you want us to solve in the future. I hope this was helpful, and see you next time. Until the next video, bye. Have a good time.